Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video, we shall talk about basics of electrical measurement. So, at first let us talk about what do you mean by measurement. Measurement is a process of comparison between standard quantity and another unknown quantity which which gives us knowledge about the magnitude of the unknown quantity. When we measure something, it means that we are comparing a known quantity with an unknown quantity. By this process of comparison, what we have as a result, we have the knowledge about the magnitude of the unknown quantity. The success of any measurement lies on various parameters and also the measuring device and the measuring person, sometimes the operator, right? So at first, before going to the details of the topic, we'll talk about some of the parameters related to, rather I will say some of the terms and conditions related to measurement. First, we have studied true value. What do you mean by true value? You can see there is a green line seen in the screen. True value means the actual value of the parameter under measurement. This is your true value, right? But that is not the measured value. Measured value means what we are measuring, what we are getting after completion of our measurement. Okay, then we have accuracy. So what do you mean by accuracy? A measurement will be said to be accurate when the measured value or indicated value is exactly equal to the true value. From our figure it is clear that true value is different from our measured value. So we can say that this measurement particular shown in this particular scale is not accurate. So by the term accuracy, what do you mean? How we can define accuracy? Accuracy means the closeness between the true value and the measured value. So if you have a pen and paper, you listen to my lecture, and by the time I complete my lesson, you must have some notes written on your copies. Also, parallelly you do these things. You have a copy and write the things what I am saying also. So it will be not possible for me to write everything in the slides. I will say something and you have to write it parallelly. Okay, so what do you mean by true value? It is the actual value of the quantity under measurement. Then we have measured value, the value we are getting after the comparison, that is called measured value. Then we have accuracy. What is accuracy? Accuracy means the closeness between indicated value and the true value. If these two values are very close, then we say that the measurement is very accurate. Next we have resolution. Resolution means what? Resolution means it is the smallest amount of quantity that can be measured. It is the smallest amount of quantity that can be measured by the measuring device. Now, as you can see from the scale, the smallest division of the scale that can be measured by this particular scale. So for this particular scale shown in the slide, so this is our resolution. You see, this is our resolution, because if any length is less than this particular value, then that cannot be accurately measured by this particular measuring device, but or you can say by this particular measuring scale. Suppose this is a 1 meter scale, and this small divisions are 1 centimeter. So if there is a length of 0.5 centimeter, that cannot be accurately measured with this particular scale. So the resolution of this scale is only 1 centimeter. Is it clear? I repeat, resolution means the smallest value that can be measured accurately using this particular scale. Next parameter we have, that is precision. The word precision comes from precise. Precise means, let me tell you, when I am doing the measurement again and again. Suppose I have gone to the market and I am buying some potatoes of 3 kg or 4 kg like this. So what I am doing, I am using the same weight machine I am taking, and I am measuring the weight again and again. So at first I am getting the weight as, let us take that the true value of the weight is 3 kgs. Okay. So using the same particular weighting machine, at first I am getting 2.9 kgs. Then I am getting 3.2 kgs. Then I am getting 5 kgs. So you can see that using the same particular machine, I am getting different values of indication. So the same indicated value is getting again and again with the same measuring device. So I can say that this particular measuring device is not precise. Okay. So even if it is wrong or even if it is correct, it is not precise. It may happen that it is wrong. Every time I am getting 5 kg, 5 kg, 5 kg. But what is the true value? The true value, as I have already told you, that the true value is 3 kg. But every time 5 times I am measuring and 5 times I am getting 5 kg. So I can say that it is precise but not accurate. Did you get my point? A measuring device can be precise but still not accurate. A measuring device can be precise but still not accurate. But rather, on the other hand, if it is accurate, its weight is 3 kg and it is measuring also 3 kg. So if again and again I am using the device and measuring it, I am getting 3 kg. So if it is accurate, it must be precise. Okay. So let me repeat the line again. Any measuring device, if it is precise, it may not be accurate. But if it is accurate, it is always precise. So there is another term regarding this precision, that is reproducibility. Reproducibility means reproduction, taking the same measurement again and again, reproduction of the measurement, right? So if I reproduce the measurement, if it gives the same value, it may be wrong, but it gives me the same incorrect measurement again and again. So I will call it that the measurement is precise. It may not be accurate, but it is still precise. Okay. Next parameter, let us move on to the next parameter, that is called sensitivity. What do you mean by sensitivity? It is defined as the rate of change of output with respect to the rate of change of input. It is defined as the rate of change of output with respect to the rate of change of input. So basically, sensitivity means how sensitive the instrument is. In mathematical terms, it can be explained as rate of change of output with respect to rate of change of input. But let us get a feel of the definition. The feel of the definition is like how sensitive is the instrument. Can it detect a very small change? A very small change, if it is reflected by the pointer, if it is reflected by the output, then I can say that the instrument is very sensitive. Okay, but if you see that you are changing the input a lot, but there is no reflection at the output, sometimes happen. You will see that I am changing the knob of the radio. I am changing the knob of the radio, but I am not getting any radio channels. I am getting, why? Because there are very gap between 2 or 3 subsequent radio channels. So since there are very much gap, I can rotate a lot, still I will not get any radio channel. So that is, I can say that the radio knob what we are seeing there, that is not that much sensitive. Okay. So sensitivity means, what is the feel of this definition? The feel is that if you rotate, if you change a very small amount at the input, the output will change drastically. Okay. Then we will call that the instrument is very much sensitive. So basically these are the very basic terms of regarding measuring instruments: true value, indicated value or measured value, accuracy, resolution, precision and sensitivity. We will have some other terms later discussed in this video or some other video. Okay, now this is a classification of measuring instruments. Classification means how many types of measuring instruments are there. Broadly we can classify like this: absolute instrument and secondary instrument. These are also called direct instruments. We will come to this, the definitions will come to it. Again, the secondary instruments are classified as two types: analog or digital. That you already know what is meant by an analog instrument and an digital instrument. Okay, now analog instruments again that can be classified in deflecting type and null indication type. Null indication type, for example, Wheatstone bridge or a potentiometer. If there is a null, then we say that the measurement is complete. But in case of a deflecting type, we see there is a pointer which rotates, and this pointer will give us the particular reading of the measurement. Okay, so basically this deflecting type, this represents how we say that now my measurement is complete. In case of null indication type, when we find a null position, we say that measurement is complete. In case of deflecting type, when the pointer rotates to some certain value, say 10 meter or 10 ampere or 10.5 milliampere, then we say that the measurement is complete. Okay, so depending upon the method, when we say that the measurement is complete, these two classifications we have arrived. Again, among the pointer types, among the deflecting types, we have three classification, that is indication type, integrating type, another one is recording type. Okay, indicating type means basically what we see, for example, in a wall clock, in an analog watch, there are notations, there is a pointer that you can say the hands of the watch, and these pointers give us the value of the time. In a voltmeter, in a ammeter, we have a single pointer that gives me what is the measurement, whether it is 5 volt or 10 volt, like this. Now there is another one, that is integrating type. In case of an integrating type instrument, whatever reading we are getting, that reading is not absolute reading, that reading is integrating type reading, which means go to your energy meter in your house, the reading is the cumulative reading when the meter was installed some 2 years back or 3 years back. From that time, the energy used in your house is completely added and again added, so the energy is integrated. So the whatever reading you are getting, you have to subtract the previous reading. Say in the month of January you have the reading 200 units, and in the month of February you have the reading 210 units, which means that in the month of February you have consumed 10 units of electricity. Are you getting my point? I'm repeating myself once again. At 1st January 2020, you see the energy meter is showing a reading of 200 units. What is the unit? Kilowatt hour. So you go to the meter once again at 1st February 2020, and you find that the reading is 210 kilowatt hour. So basically the reading is 210 kilowatt hour, but you have not consumed 210 units of electricity. You have consumed 210 minus 200, that is your 10 units of electricity for the month of January, between the date 1st January and the date 31st January. Now I hope it is clear. Okay, so this type of instrument is called integrating instrument. Now that our third type, that is recording instrument. Now recording instrument, this is more or less digital types like encoder, register, computer, where the every reading is recorded. Every reading is recorded. You have not seen this kind of a thermometer where the temperature is recorded, but I have seen. Whenever you take a reading, say it is 98.4 degree Fahrenheit or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit or 100 degree Fahrenheit, these readings are recorded like a memory. There is a memory chip inbuilt in the measuring device, and this memory is recording its every measurement. Okay, like a calculator. Nowadays, in many calculators, it keeps a memory of the last calculation. You will find it very easily. The calculator keeps a memory, keeps a record of the last reading of the last calculation it has done. So this kind of instrument is called recording type instrument. Clear? So this is a broad idea of classification of measuring instruments. Now we'll come into the basic classification, that is absolute instrument and secondary instrument. What do you mean by that? Absolute instruments are those which follows an indirect method of measurement. The method of measurement is indirect, that is, but they are called absolute instrument because the measurement is given by the physical quantity, the physical parameters of the instrument. Now what do you mean by this indirect method? What is mean by indirect method? Indirect method means, let us understand this with an example let us talk about a simple harmonic motion of a pendulum. A pendulum has a time period of t equals to 2 pi root over L by G, where L is the length of the bob and G is the acceleration due to gravity that you have already learnt. So basically here we are calculating the time of rotation, the time of a simple harmonic motion using the length of the bob and the acceleration due to gravity. So length is a physical parameter of the simple harmonic pendulum and G is the acceleration due to gravity. But using these two we are getting a parameter which is time. So we are not measuring the motion with the help of a stopwatch or a timer. So we are measuring time with the help of a length L. We are measuring time with the help of a acceleration due to gravity G. So this is an example of indirect measurement. In case of a tangent galvanometer, now this is a electrical instrument unlike simple harmonic motion. In this tangent galvanometer, current is measured. This current, which is ampere, is measured in terms of a reflection of a mirror which reflects by some angle, some certain angle theta. Now this theta, the reflection of the deflection of the mirror with this respect to this angle theta depends upon the current passing through the galvanometer. So we are measuring current, but while measuring current we are using the reflection of the mirror, right? So you see these are physical parameters are being used to measure a electrical quantity. So this is an example of indirect method. These instruments are called absolute instruments. So even if they are rarely used, still we can say that those are much accurate in terms of measurement. Okay, so that is why they are called absolute instruments. These instruments are taken as a standard. These instruments are taken as a standard while calibrating other instruments which are mostly used in laboratories and everyday activities. Okay, so I repeat myself, absolute instruments are used as a standard to calibrate secondary instruments used in daily uses. Okay, so what are secondary instruments? Secondary instruments clearly gives us the reading. We do not need to bother about how it is working. What are the physical parameters we need to calculate? We need to notice, right? Directly we look into the panel and we get some reading, that is the measurement. Okay, these are called secondary instruments. These are always calibrated with some standard secondary instrument, or sometimes mostly primary instruments also. These are most suitable because you can directly look at the panel and get the reading. Okay, for daily purpose, for a rough usage, this is very much clear. In your lab also, you will see mostly secondary instruments. There is not a single absolute instrument in our college premises. Okay, so examples are any analog, digital, voltmeter, ammeter, energy meter. These are secondary instruments. Again, there is a picture for indicating instruments also. Indicating means, as you can see, this is a panel, and just by looking at the panel, we will clearly get the reading. Now, indicating instruments again can be classified into two things. One is null indicating type, another one is pointer scale. So not necessarily that every time you will see a scale like this. Null means, the word null comes from zero. So when there is a zero showing in the panel, that may be analog, that may be digital. So whenever there is a zero showing in the panel, then we say that the measurement is complete. So it is the measurement is complete only when there is a null indication in the panel, that may be in analog mode or maybe in digital mode. So the first figure you see here, it represents null indicating instrument. Now a suitable example of null indicating instrument is Wheatstone bridge that you have already studied. Potentiometer is another example of indicating instrument, null indicating instrument. But another one is pointer scale. Pointer scale means that you see here, the zero is in the leftmost position, unlike here. Zero is in the leftmost position, so pointer can move freely in the clockwise direction. The pointer can move freely in the clockwise direction and give us the reading. So these are mostly used in daily use instruments. There is a pointer, it rotates along the scale, and when you look at the panel, it gives me the indication, it gives me the reading. Okay, now there are some constructional parts of indicating instruments. I mean, what are the system, just like in our body there are various system. We have our digestive system. Okay, we have our respiratory system. Similarly, in case of an indicating instrument, there are a few constructional parts. These are deflection system, or you can say deflecting system, due to which the pointer deflects. The pointer deflects clockwise due to this deflection system. Another one is controlling system. The pointer deflects and gets steady at a point, let us say 400 volt or 600 volt. Now who makes it steady? This controlling system makes it steady. And there is another one, that is damping system. Damping means, if you provide damping, you get an assurance that there will be no vibration. I repeat myself, if you provide damping, you get an assurance that there will be no vibration. So when I getting the reading as, let us say, 600 volt, when I'm getting the reading as 600 volt, the pointer must be steady without any vibration at the 600 volt. Then only we'll be able to get the reading, right? Pointer should not vibrate. So the damping system ensures that the pointer is not vibrating. So I am repeating myself: deflection system, which deflects the pointer; controlling system, which ensures that pointer gives us a steady reading. Deflection means that it will deflect and go to the end point 1000 volt, not like that. It will stay somewhere in middle, whether it is 400 volt or 600 volt. Because of what? Because of this controlling system. Okay, and again at that particular middle point, 400 volt or 600 volt, the pointer should not vibrate. So the damping system ensures that the pointer is not vibrating. Clear? So these are three main parts of a indicating instrument: deflection system, controlling system, and damping system. So in our next video we will discuss separately in about this three different systems of a indicating instruments. Okay, so in this lecture we conclude here. Thank you.